great passion to work with productive people, the people who are really working on creating and making impact in their communities. And we have a mission to share the experience of these people with the people who are really in need to understand and learn more about business and entrepreneurship and venture capital. That's why we have a series of activities. We have workshops, which is 3 to 4 hours thing talking about some certain topic. We have venture talks where we meet great people and panelists, and we have like a great community. We conducted 2 or 3 events from these venture talks with 60-70 people from more than 10 countries last time. Also, we have the master class, which is 2 full days concentrated about one topic. And here we go, Tea with AG. This is the thing that we are about today. Today we have Laura. She has really a very interesting story in business. Let me give a brief introduction about Laura before we start. Laura has started her professional life early in 2006 as an English teacher. Then afterwards she jumped to the business life, and she started her business journey with or inside the fashion business and fashion industry. Afterwards she shifted to import-export industry, exporting chemicals and chemical products to many Asian markets, and then the business grown in an exponential manner, and to some point the business turnover was $10 million. That made Laura qualified to represent Turkey in Bangladesh, and she is the economic representative of DIEC, one of the well-known international business association in Turkey. And then lately, as far as I know, she's running a company that is exporting food from Turkey to global markets. This is briefly about Laura. We want also to listen from her about her background before we start the first topic of our webinar today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yes, Laura.
Thank you for your invitation, first of all. As you actually mentioned everything, I just wanted to add that I'm 15 years in Turkey, almost 15 years. I live here in this country. So I'm Turkish. I'm not Turkish, but I became Turkish in these 15 years. Beautiful country, and beautiful country actually to find yourself because of I think the people that they show how warm they are, and you feel home here. So that's why you have that brave heart to start something. I started, as you said, when I came to Turkey, I had no Turkish at all. So I couldn't speak Turkish, and it was one of the problems that I couldn't start something my own. Then I started to teach children and university students. After that, I pushed myself for a business, and actually it was my start in a boutique and cafe. And then I just recognized that export is really interesting, and I can do that because I speak more than 4 languages. So and this is
what are the languages you speak?
I speak Moroccan Arabic. I speak Russian fluently, it's my mother tongue, and English and Turkish. And I'm starting to learn some Spanish as well. Just starter.
Excellent.
So then I start to supply, actually to buy and sell textile chemicals, and that's how I start to work with Bangladesh. And then I recognized that I have to produce, and I start to produce. And like 2 years ago, that business in chemical business will stop after like 5 years. That's what I feel, that it will just finish at all. Why? Because so many digital things are coming up to new days. I mean,
Yes.
we can see that printing, like t-shirt printings, are not anymore with, you know, that chemicals that we were producing. They're just
Yes.
laser or something else. So technology grows and technology runs up. So we have to find something else. So I thought that food business will never stop. And it really, we can see in this coronavirus that food sector grows up really fast, and also digital market, and 40% of digital market grows up, and it was really fantastic. Like, yes, of course, I feel very sorry about the lives and about the situation of what happened in the world, but some for some sectors there is a hand changing. So
Yeah.
one of them is the food sector. In which I think I did the right suggestion to start. Yeah, like some sectors will never die. One of them is food.
Exactly. Let's start from here. Now we know that this pandemic thing will change many things. Will change many sectors. So we will come to the point where we will talk about the changes in the food industry and how this will reflect on the food industry. But let's start from a bigger view, bigger picture. Now we read many research. We read many reports. I mean research results, and we read many reports about that. We are about a new landscape. We are about a new norm in the global market and local markets. And we saw Professor Muhammad Al-Aryan, one of the top economists around the world, and he's saying, okay, the difference between the 2008 and 2020 is 2008 was a financial crisis, and this is real economic crisis. And he explained the difference, and he said, okay, one of the things that we will realize that the global supply chain is not resilient anymore. Okay, so I mean, in other words, you as a country might rely on other markets like Asian markets to supply your food or supply your strategic commodities because it is cost efficient. But when the crisis happens, this is not resilient. Okay, so what are the changes that we will see in the near future in terms of putting the local and regional suppliers as priority than the Far East or global supply chain, existing global supply chain map? How do you think, or what are the major changes that we will see in the global supply chain map?
I think the world will change hands. I mean, by changing hands, sector based, of course. Let's talk about Turkey first.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turkey was famous in tourism sector and some other sectors, of course. We don't have petroleum, we don't have gas, so we can whatever we can do is only textile, tourism, and some
industrial sectors. Yeah, yes, but Turkey is an industrial country, so it is based on industry and industrial.
Yes, but we're changing sectors now. We're changing hands. Well, for example, my friend of mine, they were producing some simple parts. Now they are all most of all of the industrial people who produces something regarding plastic, and their raw material is plastic. They all start to produce, you know, these cases that cover your face
yes,
to protect yourself. Some people, some of my friends who were in textile business, they start to produce medical masks. So people in Turkey who produce, they will always find a way how to continue to do that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So I don't think that, yeah, we can see that in March compared to the previous year, Turkish export, according to the data of Ministry of Commerce, the exports decreased by 17.8%, which is like to 13 billion US and 400 something US dollars. So that means that yes, we did this step back, but it's like we're gonna go forward, I'm sure, as a country. I believe that Turkey will have a really, really big role in it, in a global chain, supply chain. So yeah, after that, we know that China now in a difficult situation, but what I think that after 5 years, or after, let's say, 6 or 7 years, we all will forget about this difficult situation that we have now. Worldwide, but so many things will change. Now we understood that actually fashion is not that important. The luxury car is not that important. Luxury office and luxury area is not that important. So we see that so many things can be changed, and we can have meetings by Zoom, for example.
Yes.
We don't have to go somewhere and spend money and spend, yeah, but it will, of course, so many people will have crisis, economical crisis. But
yeah, I mean, the crisis showed us that, or let us to discover our potentials and capacities that we did not know about before. Now, we saw one of the state guys in the US saying, okay, I checked out the list of the import stuff, very simple basic stuff, and then I found all of them are coming from China. So he was like surprised. Okay, so the very simple stuff we are importing from China. Right. Same thing in Europe. Are we expecting them, let's say European countries, to start producing things that that was never or that were never produced by them before, or to start relying on regional suppliers like Eastern European countries and Turkish, the Turkish industrial force, and so on, or the things will get back to norm, and everyone will continue relying on China after the things will calm down in let's say few months or 1 year.
Of course, I think after this crisis, after this pandemic, all the countries will focus on what they can do, what raw materials they can have. But some raw materials are coming from nature, so, and of course, not every country can, produce all raw materials. That's why and China is really good in it. So people will, I think, still focus on China, and I think China will handle, that's what they start.
the largest, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but of course, I think that first of all, Turkey will, just look at the mirror and ask itself, like, what can I do? What if in this kind of crisis, what will be my role? And how can I act? But something that is really, really interesting for me was that Turkey has ability to manage crisis. And I think this is really important because not every country could do that. So that means that in business also, in the business world, Turkey can manage crisis. So we saw it. So, and I think that we have now important role, and we have to focus on digital platform. We have to focus on more digital market and technology, which actually the Ministry of all ministries actually saying the same thing, that we have to focus on technology. And our people, I think they recognize now how important is it. Even the people who didn't know how to shop through the let's say digital market. Now people even over 60 years old, they start to shop online.
Okay. What we want to focus here now is all the reports, all the think tanks, all the like big consulting companies, they are expecting a recession. Okay, so the recession will make major changes in the markets. So what we want to understand here, two things. What are the major changes in the international trading? This is one question. The second question is what is the role of Turkey in the new map? So if we talk about, okay, yes, China will be still the leader in manufacturing, and China will be the factory of the world. But I mean, there are other countries who used to manufacture some products or some to export some services, and because of the pandemic and the economic situation, things have changed. So this will give opportunities to other countries. So we want to understand from your point of view, what are the opportunities that Turkey is like handling or is addressing now in terms again of international trading?
Yes, strategic products, security, trust, joint actions. Turkey is geographically in a really good location. So logistics and networks are important in the future because of this coronavirus. So we understood, all of us understood how important logistics is actually. So, and Turkey has a big role here because of our geographical location.
Yes.
That's why Turkey has to focus on food sector because we can export food to Europe and to other countries because we have this network, we have this. We have everything what we need. We know how to export, actually. Turkey is not bad in exporting.
So are you expecting the rate of export, the food export will increase from Turkey to other countries in the next few years?
Definitely.
Why?
So we have to focus here. We have to focus on production of food.
Okay.
Not branding. Yes, I was telling branding a few months ago. Branding, just become a brand, become a global brand. Now we understood that brand is not so important, actually, because of the because when you don't have a food, you don't look.
Doesn't matter which brand you eat.
Or not. Yeah, you just need.
You'll eat anything, you know.
Yeah,
okay.
And we understood that the tissue, simple tissue is very important. The toilet paper is really important, So some things that we need for home in this situation, what we use actually is important. Housewives, women, and now also the men, they know what we need at home.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. That's why we should focus on these sectors, I think, as a country.
Okay,
textile is also important. People, yes, maybe we don't have now a chance to wear something nice and go out and have coffee with friends, but we always change our bed sheets, and we need to buy them. We need to we need curtains. We need
so the textile. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should focus on home techs, and Turkey is really good in home techs. And we can export these products, food, textile, some chemicals, some detergents and stuff, which again, Turkey is good in it.
You say that the current situation gives better opportunities for Turkey to export food, export textile, export chemicals, maybe export medical products.
Yes, of course, pharma is the most important sector that I believe that will be in the high range now.
I personally believe that the governments, or most of the governments, the wise governments, will reorder the priorities, and they will put the medical and healthcare sectors on the top of their priorities next to national security and other important files. When the crisis happened between some of the Gulf countries and the lockdown took place on Qatar, so Qatar started to really, yes, think to produce strategic commodities locally, like food, like medicine,
like pharma, yeah, medicine,
like pharma, yes.
Sorry, the good thing about that Qatar start to invest in their own country in industry, they did something really strategically right, which is food and pharma. So the most important things that they need.
And Turkey has the capacity to fulfill the local market needs, as well as exporting and fulfilling other markets' needs. This is what we talk about now, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Turkey has experience, has capacity, and has know-how, and also Turkey can sell their know-how to other countries in pharma sector, in food sector, and sell your know-how and earn money. So this is one way now to help your
export
country.
services and export know-how and
exactly.
Yes. So today we are not here to talk about the e-commerce. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about import-export. The goods are being moved from country to other country, and then when it reaches the other country, it might be sold through normal shop or e-shop. So we don't talk about e-shop or e-commerce or normal shop. We talk about the trading transaction itself. Now, when the recession takes place, and this is highly expected in the next 6 months, we are expecting debt crisis and the credit rating and the trust between the international financial institutions might be affected by this. So in trading, that we use letter of credit and other types of contracting to transfer the goods and the commodities from place to some place. Are we expecting that this transaction or this type of contracts will be affected? Are we expecting that the technology will come to solve this, and we are going to see some disruptive technologies like blockchain to replace the letter of credit and act or replace the banks, or this is too early to talk about this?
I think it's too early to talk about this because I don't think that Turkey is really ready for that digital platform. It will take some time, but I'm sure we will one day. And I think this coronavirus teaches us so many things that we should use digital, digital world. We should focus on more technology industry, and we should focus on everything what is start with E.
Yes.
That's why
Exactly.
I think, yes, one day we will, hopefully. We need to learn more English as a country
Yes.
to use this technology.
Yes, the new generation should be speaking more than one language, and we can realize this. I mean, we can realize this. This is very interesting fact. We can realize this in the new generations. Like wide range of the new generation I meet and I talk to, they speak second language. Also, because of the geopolitical circumstances we faced the last 10 years, there are many migrants coming from around Turkey to Turkey, and they started to learn Turkish. So that means that like this population, or we talk about maybe 5-6 million population and migrants, they speak now at least 2 languages, if it is not 3 languages, because like the youngsters of them, when they go to the university, they speak even English. So it might be Pakistani Turkish English, or Arabic Turkish English, or Russian Turkish English, So I personally see the change, and I believe that within the next 10 years, we will find a generation that speaks at least 2 languages, and very good support to the Turkish economy in terms of export, because these people, they can engage with other markets and other cultures that will open doors for
and I believe that if people start to speak and start to learn more languages, and at least they can, you know, focus on English, I believe that we will be really good in export and in branding and in everything.
You said that I speak 4 languages, and I believe that this was one of the main reasons of letting you to go to international market and deal with other markets and other cultures and do successful business in the international trading area. So I want to really advise everyone here. And I mean, 1-2 weeks ago, one of my friends asked me if, and I asked this on LinkedIn, if I speak, let's say Turkish, and then I speak English. If I dedicate some hours in the week, let's say 2 or 3 hours in the week for language skills, should I spend them on enhancing my English or to start new language? So in business life, in entrepreneurial life, do we care really on the excellency of the level of the language, or just we care about functionality, meaning if you speak and if you can represent yourself and if you can deliver the message, that's okay, even if you are not fluent.
The second one. Definitely.
And most of the replies came to support the second one. Okay, in business, just if you can deliver the message, if you can represent your idea, this is enough. No need to like be fluent and like with the like American or British accent. This is not the
the fluency showing that you are more professional. You know, it gives you it gives your mind that, oh, okay, this person is professional and he or she knows what he does actually. To start a business or to do the business abroad, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to get the trust from the person who's in front of you. That's it. Because business is trust. This is the most important thing in business. Yeah.
So you see, in general, the general or the current existing supply chain map is going to continue for some time. There will not be major changes in the very near future. Things will take after the things will calm down in terms of international trading and global supply chain. It will continue for some time. As it is, then the change will take place on the mid to long term.
The world is changing hands, so sectors will be changed, and of course, countries will be more focused on a digital world. We learned so many things from this COVID-19, and now we have to develop ourselves. We have to be more open for a digital world, and these things that we have to focus on it as a world.
Here is the conclusion. All the things will go to the digital form of the things, but it will take some time. It will not happen like this, like tomorrow. But Turkey has better chance in this. And in the short term, we can see major changes.
If we develop ourselves, if we focus on learning, it will be much easier for us. But if we're still watching some
other players in the market doing what they do without acting, it will be hard for everyone.
We should read more. We should focus on more technology, on technology world. As a country, we should study more.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you everyone who attended with us today. It was really a pleasure having all of you today. And it was really a pleasure having you, Laura, with us today, sharing your experience and sharing your thoughts about the international trading and your experience in this area, exporting and international trading. It was really informative. We had really interesting information from you. Thank you everyone again. Ramadan Mubarak, and we will be in touch with all of you. See you. İyi akşamlar. Selamun Aleyküm.